have announced concrete steps to begin a safe, gradual, and phased opening. We're also helping governors to develop strategies to smartly deploy their testing capacities while getting Americans at lower risk safely back to work.
President Trump doubling down on his push to get Americans back to work. The president announced a new economic task force Thursday to get that job done. Louisiana Congressman Mike Johnson is on that task force. He joins us now. Congressman, thanks for being on the program. Really appreciate it. Welcome.
Thanks, Pete.
What do you anticipate from this task force? What are you looking to do first and get done?
Well, it's a bipartisan group, many members of Congress that are leaders across the political spectrum and from around the country. And I think that's good because you'll have perspectives from all corners of the country, so to speak. I think that there is a common sense of understanding amongst the members that are working together on this, that we have a sense of urgency about reopening the economy. We realize that we've got to get people back to work, back to school, back to some sense of normalcy. And so we'll be looking for the balance in how to do that. I'm so grateful the president has taken this take charge kind of leadership and put out this three-phase plan to get people back and to do that very thing. So we'll be doing that in each jurisdiction, looking at it, I hope and I believe, by a regional basis, even within each state, because you have to take all those factors into consideration.
Absolutely. Congressman, I know you've seen the protests, people frustrated that some of the limitations feel arbitrary, draconian, big businesses exempt. You can have as many people in a Walmart as you want, but my local retailer can't be open. And that falls from experts and politicians trying to make decisions. Will the task force err on empowering individuals to use common sense as long as they're following guidelines to go out there and determine their own risk threshold?
Yeah, absolutely, Pete. That's a great point. We have to apply common sense here, and you have to trust people to make those individual decisions. We need Americans to act responsibly, and they've shown that they can. You know, it's not a difficult thing to utilize sanitation protocols, to practice social distancing. Everybody's getting pretty good at that right now, and we have to empower people. You have to remember that liberty has to be the overriding concern here. We have to protect people's freedom, and we're greatly concerned about that. So as we go through the three phases, we need to start it as soon as possible, and we need to give due regard to that. You can't have these arbitrary principles like some of these local leaders are trying to install, some of the governors have, because it ultimately does more harm than good.
Well, the governor of New Jersey famously said the Bill of Rights is above his pay grade. That's when people's ire starts to get up. I got to ask you, though, about Louisiana. You guys have been hit hard there. How are things going? And when you look at something like reopening, which there are many states that qualify for that already potentially, Louisiana may be far from that. What's on the prospect there?
Well, we hope we're not too far. I've been working with a large group of conservative legislators in Baton Rouge, in our state's capital, who are really urging what we're talking about, the application of common sense. We recognize that probably the greatest danger to public health and the health of our citizens in Louisiana and around the country is poverty, right? And Pete, the longer we keep the economy closed down, the more people are moved into that category, and that doesn't serve the well-being interest of the state long term. So there is a balancing. We have to recognize what may be necessary for, inner city New Orleans, for example, is not the same standard for reopening that should be applied in, the northwest corner of the state where I live. So we're urging the governor here, as all governors should, to take all of those individual and regional factors into consideration and to get people back to work as soon as possible.
Well, we wish you the best of luck with the task force, and certainly think of the folks down there in Louisiana. Representative Mike Johnson, thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Pete.
You got it. All right, up next, as the coronavirus takes its toll on our nation's healthcare system, hospitals may face yet another shortage.